Welcome, race fans. It's time for a new season here at the Wicked Racing League, season number 2. You saw season 1 last season with us here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, but the Buttkicker Cup Series here, brought to you by the Wicked Racing League, is back here live on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. And what a place to start it all off here at the Talladega Super Speedway here for 80 laps tonight to decide who will be the season opening winner of this wonderful league that we're getting ready to head into this amazing second season. But got to give a big shout out to Buttkicker for helping these guys out and sponsoring the league. And then also another critical sponsor here of VJT Consulting. So thank you to those amazing sponsors who help make it happen here at this series. But it's going to be a wonderful night of racing and then a wonderful season leading up to that point. So we'll get to see all the ups, the downs, every little bit, every turn. You'll be right along with us here live on Freaky Fast every single Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. So you're not going to miss a thing. But right now, drivers have just finally entered into the qualifying session here, and it looks like they're putting down their times here to see where they'll start throughout the field here tonight for the 80-lap event. As I am Zach Hall up in the booth, I will soon be joined by Robert Moyer Jr. up here because he's also running production in the background, folks. So he's going to be calling the race with me and doing that. So you got to give him a huge round of applause out there in the chat because this man is multitasking here tonight. So it's going to be fun because it's a little bit of a throwback even. You know, me and Robert, just to give you all a little bit of a pass, we used to always call races together, me and him, when it first started out. And now we're going to be throwing it back to that. So it's going to be a fun time, no doubt indeed, with that. But as you can see, at the moment, we do have Alexander Light atop the leaderboard with the first times coming through, with Gavin Rogers a close second place, last season's champion. So we'll see if that season 1 champion can start off this season with a bang and continue that role he had with those 8 dominant wins last season. So we'll see how that all works out. But it looks like we also have a bunch of newcomers here to the league. It's definitely shaken up here over the offseason. A few things have changed here and there, but we've had plenty of rookie drivers out there. I'll just go ahead and start that off. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and welcome, like I said, Robert Moyer Jr. up here to the booth. Robert, welcome to the booth here with us because you're always up here anyways producing, but now you're going to be calling the races once again.
That's right, man. It's going to be throwback, like you said, explaining it to everybody. But, man, tonight, Zach, we are season number 2 with these guys. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great, and we're going to have a lot of action. You know, we come to this 2.66-mile big track here on the NASCAR side of things, and high speed too. You know, sister track of like a Daytona, except it's bigger. Of course, we know that 2 miles compared to 2.66 miles. So we'll have to see how these guys navigate this track here, Zach, because you know, you can fall in the back and stay in the back. You can go to the front and stay in the front. You can go in the middle and stay in the middle, but there's always that one mess up or that one wreck that could catch you, and it could be calamity, you know, here, and could be night over, or it could also shoot you to the sky and the moon, because we've seen that every once in a while.
That we have plenty of times seen the wild endings to the wrecks, so it's going to be a wild start for sure here already, as that qualifying order has just come through and the drivers have finished putting down their quick laps, as the time has come now to see where our starting grid will be here for tonight's race. As you can see, it's going to be Alexander Light getting the first pole position of this season. He's going to have Gavin Rogers in that second position. Mason Hossman's going to be in the 3rd spot. 4th's going to go to Cedric Hunter. 5th's going to be Jamie Plord. 6th's going to go to Steven Stimpy. And 7th's going to be Gregory Shaw. 8th's going to go to Sam Dyer. 9th's going to be Dakota Camper. And then rounding out our top 10 here is Christopher Norris. As you look through the rest of the starting grid here tonight, there's going to be plenty of new faces, new drivers, and similar faces from last season. But this is where it all begins here at the Talladega Super Speedway. And as it all begins here, we're going to be looking to step here and find us a driver that we're going to have a quick interview with them to see how their season went. And I think no better person here tonight than to hit our old buddy up, Carl Pooler here, as he's moved out of the broadcasting booth and now he's moved into the racing seat. So we'll get to hear from Carl Pooler here as he grids up and gets ready for Talladega. Hey, Carl. Hey, man, good to have you up here in the booth. It's Zach once again. But, man, you went from the broadcast booth to the driver's seat. How's it going to be feeling out there tonight at Talladega?
You know, I think everyone with the nerves, there's a couple of new drivers here. This is going to be an interesting perspective, Zach. I know I'm used to calling these races up in the booth, but getting this bird's eye view, it's going to be really exciting. And hold on to your seats. I'm strapping my seatbelts tight because it's going to be a little wild.
Well, man, I tell you what, Carl, how do you feel like the early part of this race is going to play out? Do you feel like it's going to be calm, or do you feel like, it could be a little bit aggressive here early with it being the first race of the season?
I think you're going to have a little bit of mix of both. Some of the back half of the cars are planning on, or it sounds like planning on dropping back. The front half want to charge and get those points. Talladega, anyone can get those points anytime, and you always want to start a championship run early and get those points early. So stage breaks are going to be huge, especially early on. So 20 and 40 laps is going to be fun.
Well, man, I tell you what, Carl, best of luck to you out there tonight. Talladega's going to be wild as always. It's always good to hear Carl Puller's voice up here in the booth, and I hope you have a great time out there tonight, Carl.
Thanks, guys. You guys good luck, too. Have fun tonight.
That we will. And that was Carl Puller, folks, as send him back down to his team room and gets ready for tonight's race. It's going to be a fun one, no doubt indeed, Robert, as they've pulled off this grid now, and we got to hear from Carl there. He says, how he thinks the race is going to play out. It's definitely going to be an interesting one early here, especially, like we said, with a lot of new faces, a lot of new drivers, and a lot of drivers from last season. So I'm very excited to see how all of this works out heading into this green flag early into this race. Oh, sorry about that, folks. Just a little bit of a miscue there from my part as we're working on a few things. But we're definitely still heading here to the starting grid here tonight as Alexander Light's going to be leading us here as Gavin Rogers here going to be on that outside pole. Mason Halsman in third. Cedric Hunter in fourth. It's a great group of drivers, and we're going to have a great group of drivers on cam here tonight showing their faces. As you can see our cam wall here as these drivers pull up to the grid, and that's the cool thing about this camera setup here we have is you get to see all of these drivers at one time. It is just a conglomerate of great drivers here, and you get to see their reactions as they come to this green flag. And there's so many emotions when you're a driver coming to the green flag that it can be very nerve-wracking, but also very, very a time for you to find how to start the race, and it can be very critical. So we'll see how it all plays out. The pace car going to do the hard left turn down the pit road, and we are going to get tonight all started. 80 laps here at Talladega, 2 stages here at lap 20 and lap 40. So we're going to have a little bit of break in between these races, but we're going to get it all started here at the biggest track on the circuit when it comes to oval racing. And there it is. The green flag is out, and we're off and away as Alexander Light is going to head down to turn 1. But Gavin Rogers with a good start on the outside. It's going to be dead even across the line.
As they head down into turn number 1 here, Zach here, like you said, dead even is going to be side by side going down into get ready to go to the backstretch. You can see Cedric Hunter there and Steven Stempian pushing that 77 there of Rogers out to the front, and you can see that. Look at the rush that they got going down the backstretch.
That they do have a major run down the back straightaway, and that's the key here. I mean, the one thing too, Robert, I know we've been off for a while now. We haven't done Talladega yet. We've been doing a plethora of Daytona races, and a lot of those have been in not the next-gen car. When it comes to the next-gen Cup Series car, I think tonight you're going to see this is that outside line is very dominant. I know they recently just had official races a few weeks ago, and I think you're going to see here early, if you can get up top near that wall, you're going to be able to make a lot of speed. As Rogers was jumped down to the bottom, he did not lead that lap there as Cedric Hunter actually came by and took that lead with the last moment pass with him and Steven Stippian. But some new rookies there making a big charge already on the outside.
Yeah, you can see on the outside there Sam Dyer, and then you got his teammate back there. I do believe he's teammates with, but that is Christopher there. And then, like you said there with Steven Stempien up there. I think Steven Stempien is trying to say to Hello Kitty there, look at the manpower I got, because he that last lap there, Zach, he pushed him like holy mackerel. Did he push him?
Yeah, it really shows. And I mean, we've seen in the past, Steven Stimpy, a new driver here at the Wicked Racing League, save for Cedric Hunter, but we've seen those two in the past work well together at super speedways here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. I know Steven Stimpy is somewhat of a savant when it comes to this drafting style racing. He is very, very talented. I've worked with him myself as a driver, and he knows where to place himself, how to push, and do all the ins and outs to be quick here at this track. But already early, I think the big thing that we're seeing now on our screen, Robert, is that outer groove. It's just the place to be. You see the bottom there, you got about 3 or 4 cars stacked up, but they're just going backwards here at this moment as that outside just has major momentum.
Yeah, you can definitely see that on the screen there, like you said, Zach. And you can see Galvin Rogers back there in that, 77 machine, like you said. He's falling back. He was up there 2 laps ago, up there battling side by side, but slowly but surely it's starting to fall back. And like you said, that top line is the power line right now. So I do believe if we're going to see this through the whole race here, that bottom line has to get more vehicles hooked up, and try to see if they can get more energy, built up there at the bottom to be able to, even stay with that top line right now, as you're still seeing Sam Dyer, and then you got the 41 back here. And I do apologize if I say names wrong or try to keep up with names, but you got the 13 of Harris back here. You got Light that sat on the pole here in that number 6 all the way back to 9th position right there, Zach.
Yeah, it happened quickly for him, stuck on that bottom lane. It just seems like that is not the place to be here early, but we'll see who can make that bottom lane work, because the big thing I think that's going to be critical for tonight is if you can't make the bottom lane work, how do you make passes? I know in the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, you'll see where they build that train around that outside wall. It kind of builds a defense when you have that outside wall to yourself, knowing that nobody can go any higher than that. Now, the drivers are running that middle to second lane there, so there is that ability to go up to that third lane there and start to make some runs. But I think right now the drivers are electing to stay a little bit away from that wall and make sure if anything does happen, they got a little bit of wiggle room, because, mistakes can happen here at Daytona. But a little bit of snaking back and forth, that's definitely a thing you're going to see commonly here at Daytona too. Is tough to push people, and when you get where you're pushing somebody, you're just trying to follow them, and then sometimes that can lead to a little bit of instability. Yeah,
and you can see it, like you said. We're in the next gen here, the new vehicles, and this is the first race that we called, in 2023 with these vehicles. Now, nothing has really changed too much from the end of 2022, into the new year with these cars. They didn't get too much of an update that I do believe. And you could correct me there, Zach, if I'm wrong, but I don't think they got too much of an update to them. So what we seen last year is what we're seeing this year. And you can see if you start pushing on that back of that bumper, that gets these cars upset. Yeah, you got turbulence, you got wind going in between these cars, and it can basically make that light end very, very loose. To the point where the tires are just like floating, on the back of the track. And as you burn off more fuel, the looser the car gets, and things can happen. And when you get that wrong, love tap or bump, and I know they specifically said here tonight here at Talladega, no bump drafting in the turns or anywhere down the backstretch. Let's not be hitting each other, because you can really upset these cars. As we see the 41 there ducking down low, and he says he's going to try to go here, Zach, to the backstretch and see if they can build up a little bit more cars here on the bottom.
Yeah, they're trying to build up a little bit of a run there on that bottom lane. As I believe the 55 there, he's also got Jamie Plord in the 41 machine on screen, but he is the 33, I believe, in sim. So I know a little bit of mistakes came with the numbers here coming into tonight. So I think they'll all get that cleaned up. Even Cedric Hunter, I believe his car shows the 13 on it. It should show the 31. So I think there's a little bit of mishaps with their numbers here tonight, but it is the first night here as people are definitely ironing out those little bit of issues. But look at that, Robert. We didn't think the bottom lane was too strong there in these early laps, but they're coming, man.
Yeah, they're coming really fast. That's what I said. They got to get a couple cars, but right now they got to deal with the lap car there, Zach, as they're going to go by the, God forbid, I don't know what number that is, and I do apologize, but they're going to go by that car and make it clear. But whoever they just passed is really off pace.
Yeah, that was Nicholas Renner. Yeah, I believe he started from pit road there, so he was well off pace. Luckily for his sake, I think he'll be able to latch on with this group here in the back of this pack. And then if he can get to lap 20 with no one else going a lap down, which our whole field is pretty well stacked up. I mean, we do have a second to third pack kind of formed up about 8 seconds back with Carl Pooler, Greg Shaw, Christian DeRoches. Then you'll have Alex Coffey, TJ Roberts, Dallas Manis, Cody Reed, and Mike Thomas. They're all kind of 12 seconds back off this pack, well off into the background here as we see them. And, I don't think these guys have any issues of going a lap down with the stage break coming at that lap 20 and them having actual drafting partners here to stay up to speed. They just fell back here for a tactical reason to stay out of trouble, and I think that's going to be a critical thing for these guys to stay out of that trouble. And then if that does play out where we get that stage caution, Nicholas Renner's the only car a lap down, then he will get that good old lucky dog.
Yeah, he'll get that lucky dog. But like you said, these guys are back here running in the back. You got Alex back here in that number 7, back here in another group of cars of looks like 5 vehicles here. And like you said, they're looking at the long haul, Zach, here at Talladega. They're not worrying about the stage points. You got on lap 20, which is 10 to go here. These guys are going to have the stage break, and then they got another 20-lap run. So maybe these guys are falling in the back, waiting to see how, everything works out, and don't want to get caught up in a wreck or, anything like that. And maybe they'll battle for the second stage and say, hey, maybe I can get 10 points in the second stage and then get ready for that big run there towards the end of tonight's event here.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that's the way they're playing their game right now. So definitely closing in on that stage, already halfway through this first one, and no critical issues with fuel here tonight with the stage breaks being 20 laps long. These guys do have not a full fuel load. It is an 80% fuel load here tonight. We have 3 sets of tires in the pit, so that's 4 total out here tonight for each of these drivers to use to whenever they decide to hit pit road, which most likely will be at the end of these stage breaks to fill these machines up because they can't go 40 laps, which will be the 2 complete stages together. So they will most likely come down and get some fuel and put it in these vehicles because that's going to be a critical phase for sure. But as the rest of the race comes in, we should be able to get a little bit of fuel numbers. I do have a little bit of some of these guys giving me their telemetry, let me see what the numbers are going to be like when it comes to that. I think that'll help give me a good ballpark picture of when we have that final 40-lap run to the end. Will they be able to make it on the 80% fuel load, or will they have to make a green flag stop?
I would imagine they're probably going to have to make a green flag pit stop, Zach. I think they're just going to burn too much fuel off.
I completely agree, Robert. I don't see them being able to do 40 laps, but the thing I will equate into that is you do have a few caution laps after that stage break to kind of lengthen that up. So it does change it up just a teeny bit, but how close will it be? Will you be able to save it? Because, Daytona, you wouldn't think this is a place you could save fuel much at. But with the draft being in line, you can save tons of fuel, actually. You can sometimes ride 50 to 75% throttle all the way around this track, and just the draft keep you up to speed, and then you're not burning as much fuel as you see that inside line rocketing forward there as we're looking at this 20 machine of Nigel Christensen.
I was just ready to say, that 78 machine there, Mason, he's not saving any fuel. He's got the turbos going. You can see how these guys are playing, how the draft is. It's so strong here at Talladega, and that's so key here, too. You just got to stay with the draft and run your race and not worry about it until the end here. As you can see, all these guys really took it easy, but, we were talking about that top line, and you can see everybody starting to build the momentum here at the bottom as, oh, no, we got something going, Cedric Hunter in the middle, and I do believe they're gonna. What a save, Zach!
That was a great save there. I believe that's Mason Halsman in that 78 who held on to that machine as he drops farther back. But I also believe Jamie Plord was the one who had the major save in the 33 machine. He was dead sideways there on the front straightaways. They made the move to go up top. And we'll see here now is Steven Stippian giving the good shove to Cedric Hunter. They're going to leave out to dry there Gavin Rogers and cut down below him to try to get back in line on this top groove. And just like that top leading line there, they all work together to go right around Gavin Rogers, our past season champion, who, like I said earlier, had those 8 wins. We've got to see how Rogers plays out this season because he had such a dominant season last season that I'm excited to see how it all shakes up with some of these new rookies in here and see if someone can give him a good run for his money. And I mean, saying that too, Alex Coffey had a great season too with how strong he was. Just probably didn't get the same win count just due to a few little things going wrong for him for sure. As he definitely could have won a few more. But it's going to be fun to watch. I mean, Talladega is always the equalizer, as they say. Same with Daytona with this restrictor plate. So as we get farther into the season, we'll get to really see how that pecking order folds out.
Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. Certain tracks, certain drivers. You know, they like certain tracks. You know, some like short tracks, some like the 1.5 miles, and some like the 1 mile tracks, and some like the, you know, this kind of track. But, you know, right now, as we're going lap 15 of 80 here, we're going to get ready for this stage break here, Zach. It looks like everybody, after that little scuffle that they had there, everybody's starting to calm down just a little bit, and we'll see in the next 5 laps here if they decide to ramp it back up here. But you know, you were talking about, you know, the 77 machine there falling back and no one working with them. Well, we got teams out here this season too. Now, we had teams last season in season 1 here, everybody, but tonight, you know, there's more cars, more teams. They packed tonight's field with 30 cars out here, so the field doubled to tripled from what they did last year. So hey, bravos to the league for making it grow the way they did from one season to another. That's pretty awesome. But you know, we all know how super speedway racing is. Teamwork, teamwork, teamwork. As, oh wow, the 20 car into the wall, I do believe there, Zach.
He had a little bit of slide. Luckily for his sake, he didn't get into the wall, but he was up close to it and didn't have much margin of error, and it definitely was very, very close. And you were bringing up the teams, Robert. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of teams here this season. You got the B2 Motorsports team, the Prime Time Racing team, Freedom Motorsports, Only Frame Motorsports, Limitless Esports, AP Racing, Thomas Family Racing, 2011 Racing, Smoke Inc., CNC Esports, More Cash Racing, and then Next Level Racing. So we got a good handful of them, and that's going to form, I think, a lot of alliances out on track.
Oh, especially at a track like this, it's going to be a lot of alliances. Like you said there, you're going to have teamwork, and you counted off, what, 8 teams or something like that out of 30 cars? Ooh, boy, hang on to it, man. This could get really dicey towards the end here, but we're on lap 17 of 80 here as we're watching this 20 machine here now duck it low there on that 43, and they're going to try to move up through the field here and see if they can get that bottom line to work again. But right now it's just a little bit more vehicles on the high side than there is the low line, so we'll see how far they can you know, move up. And maybe some drivers like to start using the side draft too, Zach. You know, that will help them, you know, maybe slow down that top line. I don't think it will slow them down too much, but hey, worth the shot, right?
It definitely is worth a shot, Robert. I think it could definitely be a critical thing. And how much will the side draft come in? That's going to be another question to be had for sure. So we'll see if it gets a little bit aggressive as next time by when they complete this lap. It'll be 2 to go in the stage here tonight for the Wicked Racing League. And we'll see which driver can bring home the valuable 10 bonus points. That's what you get, 10 for the winner. Then all the way down the 10th place, so that person will get 1. So it drops 1 point from each position, and we know how critical points could be. Points are everything when it comes to, you know, early seasons here, especially if you can build a gap to put yourself in good playoff contention and then be in for a shot at a championship. But at the moment, Christensen was able to get all the way up in the 20 up here with the help of this group as you're riding on board with the 78 of Mason Hossman, getting to see what these drivers see. And I think that's the one thing we talk about a lot here at these super speedway tracks is you cannot see a lot here, Robert.
No, you cannot. And as we're riding with Mason, you can see him going through 1 and 2 there, and how much of an angle and banking that this track has going through the turns, and that's how they can carry so much speed because of the, you know, the banking of the track. But as he goes through here, watch this. Whoa, as he we come back here, and we got to check up in the front. But what I was going to say here is, as you can see, he can't see nothing as a 77. I'm telling you what, I don't think people are playing nice with that 77 machine here right now, Zach, because that is now twice, ladies and gentlemen, that he got bumped in the wrong way and had to save it.
Yeah, that was a major save from Gavin. He went onto the apron with that checkup. The hit from behind really almost sent him around there, but luckily for their sake and Alexander Light's sake, who's right behind him, nothing went wrong in that case. So they keep it nice and straight for the moment, but with this, it is the white flag lap for the stage. Right now, Cedric Hunter looks primed to be able to pull this off the inside lane. He's got to pull off something major miracle, or will Steven Stimpian pull out here late second? But look at that, 81 glued to the 31's back bumper.
Oh, he's most definitely glued. He's like super glued onto the back of that machine here right now. And you got to give Christopher Norris a big shout out too. He's pretty well stuck here, and I think these guys are just going to work. I think Steven Stimpian says, you know what, I'll take second place here right now. That's 9 points starting out the season here, as it is a long season, as they're bumping and hitting. And wow, that 20 machine, as we do got the yellow, but wow, that 20 machine there, they were bumping and banging going across here for that stage here, Zach.
Yeah, it got 3 wide for a moment, a little bit heated up for those final few positions in the stage. As the end of the stage break here, it's Cedric Hunter, Steven Stempian, Christopher Norris, Sam Dyer, Michael Amidi, as he's a new rookie, Nigel Christensen, Blaine Wilson, Dakota Camper, Tyler Dingler, Gavin Rogers. Your top 10 there with that stage break, is they should be looking to get themselves ready to head to pit road here, and we'll have a chat with Cedric Hunter in that 31 machine there, as they're going to be hitting their service, getting into their boxes, and making making sure everything is all good as they're letting this pace car catch up. But you know what? I think, I was coming into tonight, Robert, with a lot of thoughts about how that outside line will work. I heard rumblings that it was so good and it was such a important thing to be in that lane. And from what I've seen, it has been, but I will say the inside lane at certain times has been on the surge forward, and I think that's going to make it very interesting when it comes down to the end of this race.
I agree, Zach. You said you heard the rumbling, and it showed there at the beginning of the race how that top line and Cedric Hunter, Steven Stempian, Christopher Norris, and all the other guys up there, how they were pushing and got the momentum, because it's a momentum-based track, and they really got the surge going on up there. But eventually they got to back off because, one, they don't want to overheat these cars. You can push so far until you have to back off and get that temperatures, back down so you don't blow up your car. And if you get, and then that bottom line gets that momentum and surge going on, they shoot right up there and they get right beside. But I still think that top line is just a tick stronger yet. I think that bottom line, if anything's going to happen here at the end, guys are going to have to make a decision. Do they want to be top or bottom? And you got to go where the most cars are. So stick around, ladies and gentlemen, because, we don't know what's going to happen here. And we'll see how this all plays out as these guys here are now pulling out from their pit stall, as we had Cedric Hunter here right now win the stage break, and we're going to bring somebody up here, Zach, and have a talk with them, see how the race is before we go back green.
Yeah, that we are. It's going to be Cedric Hunter, our stage winner there. Get a chat with him. He's here exactly how it felt from out front as they got to the lead quickly and were able to hold on to it. So we're going to pull him on up. Hey, Cedric, it's Zach up here in the booth, buddy. I tell you what, great run so far for yourself as a rookie, getting that first stage win out of the way already. How's it feel out here at Talladega?
Feels pretty good when you have a lot of help out there. I want to give a huge shout out to all my teammates and everybody out there, all the affiliate teams and stuff like that that's helping us out. We got teammates, Steven Stippian, Christopher Norris, and then affiliate guys just helping us out, like Sam Dyer and Tyler Dangler and Cody Reed as well, just helping us out. So without their help, probably wouldn't be up here, but yeah, I appreciate it. So far, the race is going really well for us. Bumping's a little weird, especially with Stempian kind of pushing us there in the Chevy nose. It seems to not connect well with the Ford rear end, so it gets a little dicey. But other than that, it's been pretty clean and uneventful so far. Hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah, it's definitely been a little... Oh, sorry, Robert.
No, I was just going to ask, you took the words right out of my mouth there, Cedric. I was going to ask you, how is that bump drafting, watching Steven Stempian being so glued to the back end of that? Is it getting that, feeling like the back end's getting loose, like it wants to step out on you, or does it seem pretty square?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's getting pretty loose, like when he does get me, especially with those harder ones, it really wants to get squirrely and puts us on the edge. And we were grabbing tires just because, from what I was hearing from Stippian and the guys back there, it was starting to get loose, surprisingly, when the stage came out. So we decided, it's early in the race, even if we lose a couple positions, which thankfully we didn't really. We were just going to come down, grab tires, and play it safe. It's a long race, and it's still early, so, we have a lot of work to do.
Well, Cedric, I tell you what, you've done great so far, my friend. Hold on to it for the rest of the race. Maybe we'll be talking to you after stage 2 if you can pull that one off also. But we'll send you back down. Best of luck.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, there you heard it, folks. That was Cedric Hunter there from the 31 cockpit as he won stage number 1. Who's going to be able to take claim to the next one, I think, here, Robert? That's the one thing that's cool here about Wicked Racing League is, you know, we do have stage breaks at some of the leagues we do here at Freaky Fast, but they do the, you know, the actual NASCAR style where it is 2 stage breaks. So, you know, this is really the only league that, you know, they can get that Freaky Fast Grand Slam, which unfortunately won't happen tonight with Alexander Light being on pole and not getting the stage win, but it is possible throughout the season.
It's the most possible. So anybody that goes back and watches this, you know, on video on demand here at the league and everything, remember, guys, we do got that Freaky Fast Grand Slam, which is very seldom to see. You must win the pole, and then you must win both stages, and you must win the race to become into our Hall of Fame of Freaky Fast Grand Slams. And it only happened 3 times in 3 years, Zach. But again, all leagues don't do that. So it's kind of hard to say, oh, it happened 3 times in 3 years, once a year. You know what I mean? That's not fair to do that, you know, say that, but that's the stats that we have. Because of the way the leagues are running and anything. But, yeah, so we have a chance for that. But here is a strategy call. That's Gregory Shaw out here in that 51, up 6 positions. He did not pit, Zach. How far can they go on fuel here? Because they already got 23 laps as we go back to green here.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a head scratcher for me, Robert. He must feel like confident. I don't know if that's Perez Diamco, or looks like it might have been Gavin Rogers actually there, got an outside wall. But yeah, as we're going to get ready to go back green flag racing here, Gregory Shaw elects to stay out there on 23 laps here. And you heard it from Cedric. He talked about the tires being a little bit even wearing a little bit. So that could be even an issue for him there too, is now finally the green flag does fly there as Gregory Shaw is going to take off here in that bottom lane. But we saw last time the bottom lane wasn't really the preferred way to be. And look at that, Cedric Hunter along with Steven Stippian still lined up. Those two have been working well together here tonight. Can Gregory Shaw find his teammate Alexander Light there in that third car in that outside lane? I think it's going to be critical for him. But I think the most critical thing is, will he be able to make it on fuel? He must feel good about it, because if he does have to actually come to pit road here and hit his pit stall, he's going to be in a tough position, because he'll be all by himself, and that could lead to him going quickly a lap down.
Yeah, most definitely quickly a lap down. But also here, Zach, too, you know, looking at the strategy there on that first 20-lap run, he did fall back, and you'll probably save him fuel, and then you add another 2 laps, 3 laps, like you said, under yellow. He might have enough to, you know, make it to lap 40, because that's going to be our next stage here. Everybody is, we're looking at lap 40 here, as we'll have to wait and see what he does here right now. But right now, like you said, that low line, they really got to get hooked up to get the momentum going. That top line is just pulling away all the way back to like 6th position there on that top line. But you can see everybody getting together here on the backstretch, and it looks like this bottom line is starting to get that push, as we got Adams there in that number 5 machine. New paint scheme for the season 2 here, looking to push that 43 machine.
Yeah, looking to push that 43 Dakota Camper up there in that nice, beautiful Richard Petty scheme. I love that throwback there he is running for sure. That's a good-looking scheme. And like you said, also Adam Buzzio here. You know the one thing about Adam last season, he was such a good, strong contender. Made it to that Final Four, and I think the stats that he didn't get a win last season. I think that's what a lot of people look at. Look at the wins column. But the one thing that he led the league in is average finish. That is an impressive stat in my opinion. A 4.2 average finish. If he can bring that same type of mentality this season, he'll be in a good spot. As they're going 4 wide now, it looks like Rogers on the outside dropping back, and along with that, it's Gregory Shaw dropping back. So that was a little bit of a sketchy moment there for a moment, but I think Gregory Shaw, he's going to drop back here on that inside line. Hopefully for him, he's going to be able to hold on to this draft, because if he doesn't, he might fall quickly behind this group, as you're now checking out Ryan Harrison there in that 13 machine from Primetime Racing to see if he can get himself up in position. It's a little bit of a log jam up there as they're 3 wide up ahead.
Yeah, 3 wide right now here. It looks like with that number 2 machine, I do believe there, Baldwin. Whoops, sorry. Going 3 wide, as we got Gavin going on the high side. We got Mason on the low side here, and then got Adam stuck in the middle here. And he's going to give a push. Oh, he did give him a little bump, but it just wasn't enough. And that 47 back there got a little squirrely too there, Zach, coming out of 2.
Yeah, we almost had a major incident there for a second, as I believe one driver's having to drop well outside the pack, and I believe you could see how that all played out right there. Yeah, it was Ryan Harris there had to drop all the way back, as that 2 machine also having a little bit of fireworks there for Steven Borbell.
Well, Stephen Borbell is going to have Wonder Bread smashed because Adam just gave him a shot in the back end there going down that backstretch. And you can see how much Adam lost compared to that, too, with giving that bump shot. I mean, you can't bump like that. It doesn't work, unfortunately.
Yeah, it can get very, very dangerous when it comes to those bumps. And, we heard our stage winner, Cedric Hunter, bring it up. It's kind of weird. Is a good way to put it. And another thing he brought up, I don't think we bring up a lot here with these next-gen cars, is how the bumpers align. These Chevrolets out there have very pointy noses. They are less pointed than the Gen 6 previous era, but this Gen 7 car still has that pointed nose on the front of that Camaro. So if you're in a Camaro, you've got to be very careful when it comes to pushing this. Those Fords and Toyotas seem to have a much more flatter front end to give them that ability to really shove and get that better feeling out of it. So it's one of those things you got to play out as a driver out there. But the one thing I've seen that's most common out here tonight is we've had some very clean racing, and up to this point, the two past super speedway races we've had here in season 1 at the Wicked Racing League, we had 7 cautions at Talladega last time, and we had 8 cautions at Daytona. Now you got to take 2 of those out for being stage breaks. So technically, we're only looking at 6 and 5, but right now we're sitting at caution free other than that stage break.
Yeah, they're looking really good right now. You can see everybody's giving room, and the other key is that they're playing with that throttle there, Zach. That's a big thing here as we're watching TJ here, Robert. So he's on the gas, off the gas, on the gas, off the gas, and that's a key here. If you can get that throttle input just perfectly and line it up like you said on the back end of somebody, you can really latch on like a Steven Stempian. Steven is a prime example, and I don't want to keep bringing up his name, but if you watch the way he is drafting Cedric Hunter here, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go on board on the top here, and look how he's lining that Chevy up right in the middle of that GT there, and he's holding it, and you can just see, Zach, that he is just not letting off. You can hear it. He's not letting off the gas. Even going through the turns, he's just flipping that throttle a little bit, and that's where the speed's coming from. And if you can do that lap after lap after lap after lap, I said it before, it's momentum. And once you get momentum going, it's like throwing a baseball. The faster that baseball goes, the faster it goes. And you can see here again, right in between that G and that T, he's just pushing very well.
Yeah, it's tough to do too. I mean, you can see very minimal movement. There is some side-to-side movement, but it's almost impossible to stay completely aligned all the way around this place. But he's doing such a good job. In the corners, he's giving him a good shove out. That gives him actually a good headspace to get a good run coming out of the back straightaway or the front straightaway to give that next bump down the front straightaway or down the straightaway. So it's really critical, and kind of that's been the dominant show so far of those two really just locking bumpers and pushing very, very well. As now this inside line looks to be forming up a little bit better there, as it looks like Alexander Light, he's going to be the driver leading the way in that 6 machine.
It's gonna live. We know Alex Light there, but also look who's right behind him. We got Cody Reed. We all know where Cody Reed is. We see him a lot here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting on Monday night there, Zach, in the trucks. Don't see him too much racing these next gens, so this is something new that we see here with that driver. So we'll have to see how this car fares for him, and see if he can be as dominant as he is in the trucks.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely, a driver to note for sure as a rookie this season. We got a lot of good rookies, and he's definitely added to that good rookie list. So we're going to get to see how he prepares. And, it's always cool to see the drivers in the different, style cars. We've seen him in that previous, truck series. And, the trucks in next-gen cars, yes, they do have similar tendencies, but they do drive very differently. So I'm interested to see how that can carry over for him as a driver for sure. It continues to be a stranglehold of that top line, but the bottom line has its moments. We'll just have to see if they can make the moment happen at the right time, as we're looking for lap 40 for that next stage. And it's crazy to say, Robert, we're going to be coming here next time by to 7 to go.
Yeah, 7 to go here for stage number 2. Looks like we have 2 packs out here right now. We're watching that front pack, and then we come back here to Alex back here. Looks like he's in that second pack again, just like he was in the first half of the race. Just laying back, and I think these guys are just content right now, Zach, where they're running at in here in the back with about 8, 9 cars here in line, and they're just riding, and they're pretty close to the front there, as a draft wise, but I don't think they're in any rush to get up there at the battle into the front.
Yeah, I think they're saving their hoorah for later in this race. They're definitely, I think, on the less aggressive side when it comes to that. I think those guys are looking to make it through this race, and we do have to note, they do have 1 fast repair. So, yes, they're going to have a little bit of wiggle room here to make a mistake and still get back from it. But if you use that fast repair early, you get put into a tough situation when the racing picks up and gets a little bit more aggressive later in this race. So I think that's a smart thing for these guys, is they're going to be able to really work together later, save their fast repair if something major happens, and then later in the race they'll be on the aggressive side, and we'll get to see how that all plays out, because stage points, they can be critical. Like we said, every point matters. But this is Talladega. You got to be there at the finish if you want to have a shot.
Well, yeah, most definitely. You got to be there at the finish, as these guys are just hanging out in the back if something happens, as we're 3 wide up here in the front here, as we got Christian here, and we got Steve here in that 96. It looks like we're going to go 3 wide here, and Cody Reed was up there battling, up there in 2nd, 3rd, 4th position, give or take, and now all of a sudden he has fallen back here, Zach, and now he's going to jump to the high side here and try to latch on there with Christian, I don't even know who it is, Christian. Sorry if I messed up your name there. But anyways, he's going to jump on that number 23 machine there.
Yeah, they're trying to make their run up here to this front pack here and see if they can make that inside line go forward. And I think that's going to be the critical thing, as we're seeing a lot of movement back and forth here between this group. But the one thing that I think the outside line has most going for them is, we had Cedric Hunter up here. He talked about the alliance. He said he's working with other teams out there too, because they are on Smoke Inc., which is the top 3 right now. It's Cedric Hunter, Steven Stiff, and Christopher Norris. Those 3 are teammates. Then you also have Sam Dyer and Tyler Dingler, who are both on Only Friends Racing. And when it comes to that, those are group is working together here tonight when it comes to this plate track. So we got right now those top 5 all just going to stay with each other here. But as I say that, they're no longer just the top 5. That too be Stephen Borbell. He's leading his way up here, and the Wonder Bread Machine is the wrecking behind.
Huge run.
Yeah, finally a huge wreck here, and it's going to take a few drivers with them, and I think it might have been around that 6th to 7th position there, as these drivers coming out of turn number 4, and I think it might have been a push from the 77 of Gavin Rogers to the, or sorry, actually it was Giovanni Perez, the Amco, in the 11, giving the bump to the 43 of Dakota there. Is a tough break for him there, as he got down into last season's Talladega winner there, Johnny Shade. Tyler Dingler also involved in that. That's going to be the 2nd caution of the night. First one for a yellow, as we pull up the replay here, as this replay is brought to you by VJT Consulting. As you can see there on the screen, that bump to the 43 got him wiggly, sent him down into the 47, and from there it was just mayhem, as multiple drivers involved in that incident there. As we get to see a few shots of these drivers trying to make it through the 3 there. Ooh. Of TJ Roberts, the winner from Daytona in season 1. He makes it through. Blaine Wilson there in the 18. He's trying to get through. But look, there's the 96 of Steve Cole, and also that 11 machine there of Gavin Rogers. As it was tough for him to make it through, as his teammate and him both involved in this. We may see a few fast repairs come out, especially for Diamco. He's got a meatball flag. Same with Christian DeRoche's into 23. As you see, man, some major misses there from a few of these drivers out there. This is a cool shot to see there, as it looks like they make it back on the racing surface. And again, you get to see that close call there.
Yeah, TJ just made it through, and that was just bump drafting going wrong there, Zach.
And it's that simple. It really is that simple, Robert, and it happens that fast. And I think even with this, because this is under 5 to go, that was going to bring it into our stage. So it was Cedric Hunter winning the stage once again. So we'll be, we talked to Cedric, the man who's been pushing them all night. I think we should talk to second place since, we already got words from the 13. Let's go ahead and bring up that number 81 is Steven Stimpian here, as he's been very critical, I believe, to, really these stage wins for Cedric Hunter and that team there at Smoking. We'll get to hear from good old Steven Stimpian to hear what his thoughts are early in this race here at Talladega. Hey, Steven, it's Zach and Robert up here in the booth, man. Good job so far working well with your teammate there, Cedric Hunter and Christopher Norris. Able to really have a good stranglehold on this field here tonight. How's it feeling been pushing out there in that 81? As we always know, you're one of the best.
It feels pretty good, man. Just hanging with Cedric, familiar territory, drafting with him. Been doing that a lot for a few years with him, so feels pretty good. It's good to hear from you guys, too, up in the booth. Hi, Robert.
Hi, Steven. Yes, well, hey, good bump drafting here. And we brought it up on the first stage here when Cedric Hunter, won that stage. And I asked him about, bumping him the way you were, how it got that car loose. Are you seeing that when you give him them bumps and these cars start getting loose, not squared up a little bit? Do you know to get off the gas right away, or is it a little hairy for you?
No, I know to get off the gas right away. I keep coming on the radio telling him it's this Chevy nose not matching well with that Ford bumper. So it is what it is, but I don't bring this Dale Jr. throwback out to Talladega for nothing. So we're going to keep pushing and staying up front, hopefully, and see what happens.
Well, Steven, it's been fun to watch so far from us up here in the booth, man. Congrats on getting a 1-2 there in both stage breaks there for you guys. But hopefully maybe you can get past that Hello Kitty machine here later if you have to make a move, man. But congrats again, like I said, and best of luck to you.
Thank you, guys. Hopefully be talking to you later.
Alrighty, folks. That right there was Steven Stimpian. You heard from him. That was the man behind the pushing here tonight. We got to hear the driver who won both stages in stage 1 of Cedric Hunter, but we figured, maybe it was best to get a quick chat with the guy who's been pushing them all night long. We'll see if anybody can, maybe shake that group up there, as it's been definitely a strong drafting between those two. But we'll see if anybody can get something done here, Robert, as they get them back re-racked up, lined up, pace car lights are off, and we're going to go back green next time by.
That's right. We're going to get ready to go back green here. But, how you were saying there, pushing and shoving, well, there's something that you don't want to do here, and you can go and grab our merch here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting and put it on and snuggle with your loved ones and don't push them away and say, feel how cozy this sweater is and nice and warm. And so, yeah, make sure you go out and check out our merch here. As our merch line, we got some beautiful shirts, different colors. We've got hoodies that are really soft and very well made. So make sure you go check us out there at storefront at Freaky Fast Broadcasting to get your Freaky Fast merch.
I tell you what, that's definitely some great merch there. But if you also want to go check out another product while you're at it, going and checking out some stuff, go check out the iRacing iFlag. You see it there on our ticker. It's flashing yellow. It's the best for visualizing the flag that is in the current state of what you're racing. So make sure you go check that on out at iRacingIFlag.com. Use that promo code there you see on the screen, FreakyFast 2022, and you'll be able to stay on top of what is going down on the racetrack with yourself. So definitely a great product for sim racing, and one that you definitely will not be disappointed with. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and hit the admin box too, because it's one of the best button boxes out there. If you want to be able to control a race, not only as a driver, but also as an admin, you should head on over to adminbox.com and use that discount code as you see on the screen, FFB/BOXX, to get that discount, because I tell you, I have one myself. They are amazing. It helps you control the race as an admin. It really gives you all the functionality that you need to be able to run a league race. So thank you to Admin Box. Thank you to iRacing iFlag. Thank you to Store Frontier for setting up all of our merch there. It's going to be a good year 2023 with some great products to show off to you fans. But as I say that, it's time to go back racing. Cedric Hunter here with the lead, and Steven Stimpian in the second spot here as we're across the line, and we're going to get ready to go. Green flag is there. It is. Green flag's back out and away. Steven Stimpian with a good launch, but also Christopher Norris on that bottom. This is the first time we've seen those two down low. We'll see, can they get themselves positioned up high? Is Adam Buzzio now up into the top 5?
Adam Buzzio, they're up into the top 5, and yeah, we're going to see how this all plays out here. And as you can see, that top line getting rolling here, and that bottom line's not moving. But right now, you see Steven Stempion said, I don't want anything to do with that bottom line. I feel more comfortable on the top line, so he's going to move back up. But, you know, we got both stages out of the way now, Zach. So, guys, ladies and gentlemen, it is our ramp time as we got TJ going in the wrecking and in the back, and he's going to spin down in front of the field. Oh, and hang on, the 43's up into the wall.
Oh, man, major incident there. TJ Roberts is where it all started around. Looks like contact from Stephen Borbell and those two making some slight contact that led to some more action. Is Dakota Camper, who was just involved in that last incident. He's going to get caught up in that also. But what a tough break there it is for that group of drivers there. As you see now, TJ Roberts limping his way back to pit road with the damage on that car, as he's got a required damage flag. As you see now, the replay here brought to you by VJT Consulting. And right now, TJ Roberts is definitely going to be consulting that car when it comes down to pit road for what kind of damage it has. And I can look at it, at least a big thing for, well, actually, I was about to say at least he doesn't have the dreaded meatball flag, which means required damage that you're going to have to get repaired on pit road. He does have that. Same with Nicholas Renner and also Dakota Camper. So those three all with major damage here on pit road going to have to be using a fast repair. And luckily for TJ Roberts, Dakota Camper, and Nicholas Renner, they all have yet to use one. And I believe also Nicholas Renner has kind of parked it for the night as he's 16 laps down here looking at things. So looks like TJ Roberts and Dakota Camper, they're not going to have to use, they're going to have to use their fast repair here, but luckily they had one left here, Robert.
Yeah, luckily they had one here, but, you know, that's a little early to use here because we still got a 40-lap, well, you know, what, 39 laps to go here, Zach. So these guys are going to have to, you know, settle down and not try to get involved in anything else here towards the end of the race. And we still got a long way to go here. You got to remember, this is a 2.66-mile track. So, you know, there's a lot of things that can happen, you know, through this track here. So we'll have to see what TJ decides to do here. If he decides to fall back, which he's already in the back of the field. So I would imagine, you know, maybe lay back a little bit. But again, you don't want to lay back too far because if we, you know, we had a great, you know, 20-lap run. We had another 20-lap run. Well, 20 and 20 is 40, you know, so another 40-lap run. This could be the one and only caution that we actually see, Zach. I mean, we really don't know. But if that happens, you don't want to lay back too far because then you're not going to catch the field. So, you know, we'll have to see what he all plays or what his game plan is. If he says, you know what, I'm just going to go for it and see what happens.
Yeah, no, it's definitely one of those things where we're going to have to see how it all plays out now. What do? You use the fast repair? Do you take the chances or do you kind of save those chances? So we'll see how all of that does shake out here at the Talladega Super Speedway, as we're going to be interesting also with the fuel mileage. I think that's one thing I'm kind of interested in as a driver myself. You know, knowing what the fuel mileage is going to be like is going to be super critical here for these guys when it comes down to the end of this race. So I think they're still going to have to all pit. They're definitely most likely going to have to. But when does the timing for that pit stop happen? Do you pit as soon as you can make it, or do you wait a little bit? That's going to be a huge question, I think.
Most definitely is going to be a huge question, as we'll wait to see what these guys decide to do here, as we're going to get ready to you know, maybe go to a side-by-side in-car camera here, Zach, too, and see what this, I do believe I got the, is there a 47 out there? Yeah, Johnny. Yes. We do got Johnny Shade out here on camera, and we'll see what he does when we go back green here. We got a side-by-side here of the race action, and also him here in this 47 machine. So when we go back green, we'll go side-by-side and see how he reacts, you know, going back green for at least one lap here, ladies and gentlemen, to get a little bit of in-car camera view. As we seen there on our driver's cam at the beginning of the broadcast, you got to see where these guys were getting ready, amped up, getting the nerves out of the system, and now we'll see how he's feeling right now here, as looks like he's slowing down to get ready to catch the field here, as it looks like we got somebody hitting pit road, or we have a lot of people hitting pit road.
Yeah, I think we got some guys topping off here, trying to get as much fuel packed into that race car as possible. Maybe to try to stretch it. Now, we do have that 80% fuel load. I think that makes it way more tough. If we had 100% fuel load, I think that would be, personally, you'd probably be good to make it. But with that at 20% less, I think they're going to be in major trouble, Robert, with that.
Well,
oh, my bad.
no, I'm just my brain just went thinking there, Zach. You know, I agree with you. The thing is that you know, these extra laps that they're getting topping off on the fuel, that's a lap or two more. You don't know when the yellows fly. That you know, they could leapfrog the field as they're going in. They come out, and you know, at a super speedway, normally you see the wrecks. You know, bump drafting goes the wrong way, and cars that, you know, you hit the left side, right side, or something like that. But also sometimes people come out with two-tire pit stop, and if they come out, it could catch them off guard coming out of the turn. Not so much coming out of exiting and then going into 3 and 4. What I'm trying to explain, ladies and gentlemen, is when you exit and you out of pit road and you go through 1 and 2, all of a sudden those left side or right side tires, whichever side you decide to take 2 tires on, could catch you off guard.
I completely agree. And, you know, what it comes down to is these super speedways, for some reason, they generate, I mean, I say some reason. The reason is speed and high banks. So there's a lot of load being generated. What I mean by load is a lot of force being put into the racetrack by these tires and by the suspension of these cars. And when you put that load into those tires, the heat really generates very, very fast. And with that heat building up, that's where that tricky condition comes from, I think, Robert. It looks like. Yeah, it's definitely one of those tough things as a driver. You gotta expect it, and you know, if you don't, you can be caught off guard very, very quickly. As the pace car pulls down the pit road, we're gonna have Cedric Hunter leading the way once again. This Christopher Norris, Steven Stimpy, and Adam Buzzio, your top 4. But like Robert said, we're going to be going side by side here with the 47 of Johnny Shade. He was our Talladega winner last season as the green flag flies, and also our Atlanta winner. So this guy knows how to get around the super speedways. See if he can go back to victory lane where he was last season here at Talladega. What a special win that was for Johnny Shade there in the 47 machine. A prime time racing is now. We took out Chad Bean in the 9 machine. He's out here in the 11th position right now, sliding up to that high line. And I think this is where you're going to see things start to pick up a little bit, Robert. This is the time of the race where no more stage breaks. We're going to the end of the 80 laps, and you had drivers re-emerging from that apron. That right there got real tricky fast.
Real tricky fast. These guys were definitely, they went 3 wide here and just tried to, I think, you know, it's 45. I think it's just a little bit too early yet to be doing moves like that yet, Zach.
Yeah, that was tough. I mean, you know, there's drivers that want to drop back. They feel like getting back there is the safe thing to do. Maybe even get located with your teammate. As Buzzio almost getting a bad push there from behind. That could have been detrimental to himself there, as they luckily keep it straight as DeRoche is there in the 23 all over the back bumper. You know, this is definitely the time where I think, you know, it's going to pick up a little bit. So when you have someone dropping back like that, this is going to catch some people off guard. And, you know, you got to be careful when you reemerge on that track, because quickly you can be taking someone out.
Yeah, you can take someone out. But also here, I want to give a big shout out to our own Sam Dyer here. You know, he just started getting his wheel set up there, Zach, and he's only been racing probably for, what, a good 4 months or something like that? So, got to give the guy a little bit of credit here. The big giant that he calls himself here, running in 4th position, looking pretty good.
And they're wrecking behind. Major incident on the front straightaway. Man, this is all piling up now as I believe it all started back there. It started going 3 wide, actually, right there in the tri-oval. I believe it was around, it was right behind Tyler Dingler, and it was, I believe, Cody Reed in the 25 who took it really almost even 4 wide. And from there, it all transpired as I think DeRoches, Harrison, and Reed all just came together there to bring out the 4th caution of the night. And 3rd one for incident there is you're going to see this replay here brought to you by VJT Consulting. And the contact between those 3 just ended up taking some other guys out there. Chad Bean, there's Alex Coffey in the 7. Multiple drivers involved in this. Is they're just trying to miss the pileup. But when you're at Talladega, things happen so quick. And the big thing here is so many cars will require damage flags. You got Chad Bean in the 9, the 13 of Ryan Harrison, Johnny Shade in the 47 we just watched, and Gregory Shaw also in the 51. So tough breaks for a lot of drivers, but some other ones involved in it where they may even think about using that fast repair since there's so much damage on that car. So tough break here with this this caution for a few, but you're going to get to see this cool shot here from the 33 of Jamie Plord here as he's going to try to make his way through, and he sees the door open up. He feels probably safe at this point, but he just comes down the racing surface just a little bit into that 11 of Giovanni Perez Diamco, and they sends both of them around to the inside. Luckily for them, it doesn't seem like it was too big of a hit there, Robert.
Yeah, it looks like they slid in. You know, there's a lot of runoff here at Talladega. So you can see they got some contact and some damage, of course, you know, to the cars, you know, but just watching them slide here through the infield or the runoff area, not too bad as long as you don't run back into somebody or hit that wall. But, you know, I was just going back and we watched that in-car, you know, shot there of them going 3 wide, and it looked like the 25 was, yes, in the middle, but I've also seen that 23 drift up a little bit, and I just wonder if it spooked Cody Reed just a little bit, and he slid up, and then unfortunately there was a vehicle on the outside of him, and, well, then we seen what carnage happened after that there, Zach.
Yeah, that looked like one of those good old-fashioned squeezes, you know. It just, things happen where, you know, the 25 went to the middle. He tried to make something happen. Then you had the 13 of Ryan Harrison on his outside. Then to the inside of them, they had Christian DeRoches. And just like that, a major incident transpires just because 3 drivers going for kind of the same real estate out there on track. So it's definitely a tough break, you could say. But I think the big thing here is most of them have their fast repair still in line. So we'll see how they can recover from that type of incident here early in this race. But, you know, while we're under this caution, we can go ahead and get another little chat from one of our drivers out there. And I'm going to go ahead and pull up the number 78 of Mason Halsman. He was able to make it through that wreck here, and we'll see how his race is going because he's going to be coming back this season looking for some good runs. So we'll move him on up here, folks, and get a quick chat with Mason Halsman in the 78 machine. Hey, Mason, it's Zach and Robert up in the booth. Man, you got a copy?
Yeah, I do. How's it going, buddy?
It is going great, man. Well, I tell you what, this has been a little bit of a wild race here the last few, 20 laps or so. How you feeling out there in the 78 machine?
Oh, it's great. I'm having a great time. A little bit of stage 3 wrecks. It's gonna happen. Stage 3 it's gonna be a wild house out there. I've been lucky enough to be able to get out of both of them. Unluckily enough, my teammate got into the wreck a little bit, but right now, Freedom Motorsports have been doing pretty good. We've been staying out of trouble and just been trying to keep the car up front.
Yeah, Mason, we've been watching you out here running around here, and my question to you is that we're on lap 49.50 with a couple more, about 20 laps to go here, 30 laps. What's your game plan? Do you, game plan as tire-wise and fuel-wise? You guys looking pretty good? Are you looking to lay back here for a little bit until we get closer to 10 laps to go, or do you want to try to get up to that front there?
100% laid back. It's the first race of the season. Of course, you don't want to make any enemies, but we're gonna be laid back just to be able to get out of any wrecks and have the cleanest car at the end of the race. We wanna have the cleanest car so we can go to the front and hopefully try to get one of us up there in the top 3 or even win the thing. But yeah, right now tires are looking good, fuel's looking good. We're looking great right now. We're having fun. We're doing great.
Well, Mason, I tell you what, it does sound like fun out there, man. Good job so far in this race, and hopefully we can talk to you later here, maybe in victory lane.
Thank you.
All right, folks, that was Mason Hossman. We'll send him back down to his Freedom Motorsports team as he's going to get ready for this restart. But you heard it, Robert. He feels the feeling of laying back here a little bit, trying to make sure to get to the end of this race. I like that call, and I'm also seeing some guys come back down the pit road the second time. I don't know if that's damage or fuel because, you know, I'm a little concerned on fuel. Not too much, but I am a little concerned with the 80% fuel load, with it being about 30 laps here, and it looks like most likely about 29 under green.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. What are we looking at? About 28, 29 laps here on 80% fuel there, Zach?
Yeah, it's going to be close. I really feel like we're going to see some guys having to think about saving possibly. I mean, it could be a few laps to the good, but then that's where you account for green, white checkers, and then that's where I look back to last season. I mean, at Daytona and Talladega, both those tracks getting green, white checkers. I believe Daytona had 2 overtime attempts, but Talladega had 3. So we could be looking at, you know, full overtime, and when you add that, that's adding about 9 to 10 laps onto this race. So that right there can shake things up a lot when it comes to fuel.
Most definitely. So stick around, ladies and gentlemen, as we're going to get ready to go back racing here on lap 50 of 80 here with Wicked Racing League. We'd like to say thank you to everybody out there on YouTube or comes back and watches this on video on demand. We do much appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and share this stream out to your friends and family and let them know what you watch. And if you're watching your brother, your cousin, your sister, or whoever it would be, you know, make sure you give them a big shout out on social media platform. But we're getting ready to go back green here as we're going to watch here that number 38, and we got the number 5 of Adams here, and we got Cedric Hunter leading the way with Steven Stempian down on the low line in that number Bud machine, number 81 machine, as we're waiting for that green flag to fly here, Zach. And green flag is out, and what a jump for Cedric Hunter. It looks like Adam was just laying back and was not ready for that one.
Yeah, Cedric really on the gas early there. That lets him get down with his teammates. That might have been a little bit of premeditated, you know, just sitting there thinking it out, saying, I'm going to try to catch these guys off guard so we can get lined up. And like that Buzzio, you see, he's just dropping straight back, just falling backwards here as he heads down the back straightaway. This is a tough break for Buzzio, as now they're going to have a few drivers jump up in front of him. As Christian DeRoche is in that 23. He's going to try to make the move. But I tell you what, they're trying to get lined up here and make something happen. But now Buzzio to the inside with a power move.
As the power move, as we're watching him there on the right side of your screen there, ladies and gentlemen, that is Adams in that number 5 machine. You can see him working that wheel left and right, trying to keep it straight as we got Gregor Shaw ducking out. Looks like he might be hitting pit road, I do believe, as maybe he can't make it on fuel. That could be a sign as we got somebody going through the grass, and oh my goodness, number 2 save.
Yeah, that was Sam Dyer in the 42 machine there. He went for a move on the outside, was not clear. He had the 23 of Christian DeRoche's there. That bumped him back down in front of that line of Adam Buzzio. But what a save from him. It was a bad move to go up high there. Just probably thought he had a little bit more room to go up there. Didn't expect that 23 to be there, but the one thing that's not good for Sam Dyer, he's well off the pace when it comes to that now. He may lose this draft here at some point and try to formulate a way to get back up there. But I tell you what, you never know. A yellow flag could move around any corner, as we've seen the racing definitely pick up from the aggression level.
Well, you can see the aggression level pick up here, Zach, as these guys are getting ready to go. Lap 52 of 80 here, ladies and gentlemen. So with that being said, as they got the aggression going, and it looks like right now the top 10 are going to get single file, and we got the rest of the field here trying to get single file here. We're going to swing by ourselves here and take a little bit of break to get ready to be ramped up here for the last couple laps here with Wicked Racing League here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. So stay tuned for all the action as we're going to hit a commercial break, and we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned for more action.
And just like that, we are back here, folks, at Freaky Fast Broadcasting here with the Buttkicker Cup Series, as Wicked Racing League is brought to you by them and also VJT Consulting. So make sure you go check them out and see what they have in store for you. As big moves being made on the racing surface. Coffee goes up the block, that second lane to lead it. And no, sir, Cedric Hunter and Steven Stippian, who've had a stranglehold on the lead for most of the night, have gotten it taken away from them. But just like that, they go to the third lane, and they start making things happen. As now we're seeing 3 lanes start to be used, Robert. Things are picking up here at Talladega.
Most definitely. I was just watching under commercial here while we were doing our thing back here, talking a little bit, Zach, and Alex was really on a move in that number 7 machine. He went all the way from the back of the pack to the front of the pack in 2 laps, but now you can see him back here with Rogers, and he's just falling back. But you know, we do got different leader though here. Adams has now pulled out to the front here, and we have a new leader there over Cedric Hunter.
That we do. Adam Buzzio trying to hold on to what he can. Now gets split. Going to be in the middle all by himself, and that's not what he wants to see. It's Mason Hausman. He's going to be leading the inside line with Steven Borbell in the 2, trying to make something happen for them. But luckily for Buzzio, he can get in line there, as now it's Coffee up top 3 wide there in the 7, about 5 rows deep. But again, that stranglehold of that team up front there, a Smoke Inc. and also the Only Friends Racing team. It's been good for them, but right now they're kind of separated other than the 81 and the 31. Now 3 wide from the 3rd row back.
Yeah, and you know what I'm seeing here right now is we got the 20 looking on the inside, going to look underneath that 77. He's going to try to latch on there with Tyler Dingler up there on that number 69 in the middle here. But you know what I'm seeing? These guys are, we're getting such major runs with these cars, and then they got to back off so hard, Zach, that they lose all the ground that they were going. They lose it. It's gone. And then they got to restart back over. And you can see, look at that 20 machine. He got such a surge and such a run. And now, unfortunately, he's out there all by himself. And now he might get some help there with TJ and Alex there in the middle.
That he might, as this 3 from the 4th row back 3 wide, as this is starting to pop off a little bit here on the back straightaway. As you can see the 3 of TJ Roberts, the winner from Daytona last season. He wants to go get himself another super speedway win, drops to the bottom. Now going past the teammate there of Coffee, as those two are going to try to most likely get lined up here and work together at CNC Esports. As we've seen, they had great teamwork in season 1. Can they continue that here tonight at Talladega? You're going to definitely need it, as the teamwork has been so critical for our leaders.
Yeah, it's been so critical. I don't think you need the bandit teamwork right now, Zach. We still got 18 laps to go yet. You still need to work with your teammates and still try to figure out how you want to get up there in front and get by that 13 or 31 there on the ticker of Cedric Hunter and Steven Stempien. That's been basically up in the front this whole race. And these guys did figure it out there for a little bit, Zach. As you know, we were on a commercial. They all got up in the front. We had Adams up there getting the lead up there. As you can see him ducking down on the low side there. And he's going to try to latch on to that number 9 machine. So it can be done. You just got to, we got pit stops.
And I like this call. They're going to do this early pit stop. They try to come in here by themselves. And looks like they're going to bring in Mason with them. It's going to be almost 3 wide there for a moment. But the big thing here is Mason Hausman. He's qualified ahead of Steven Stippian. So luckily, Steven Stippian to the inside won't be too big of an issue here for him. But we'll see what Cedric Hunter can do, as he does have that box right before Hausman. Luckily, no contact between that group, as they're going to try to get lined up here. Probably take a little splash of fuel, nothing too big, and Hausman's taking tires. He's going to be left out to dry.
That is a bad call. I'm sorry to say it there, Mason, but, you know, he came down and maybe without running into Stempien there, he forgot to uncheck his tires there, Zach, and unfortunately, he took 2 tires, so he is now out there all by himself as everybody else is just pulling away.
Yeah, and the other thing I've seen, though, from that team of Smoke Inc. and Only Friends Racing, they're kind of separated. Cedric Hunter and Steven Stippian, amazing stops from both of those drivers in and out of the box. But Christopher Norris, Tyler Dingler could not stay hooked up. They lost a good portion of time, and they're going to be somewhat in no man's land. They're going to need to try to hope that Stempien and Cedric can slow down for them, but I don't think they can. They're going to have to try to run full bore here, because this pack out front, they're going to be trying to open up the gap. So that tells me they think they're not good on fuel. We're going to see some more green flag stops. And Hausman, you know, the tough thing for him is he didn't come down with any of his teammates at Freedom Motorsports. He didn't have that availability when he came down. So he didn't know probably the communication of what was going to go down with the pit stop.
Most definitely, you know, and you know the saying that they say at Super Speedway or any track, Zach, pit road, you can win it, you can also lose it. And right now, you're seeing how these pit stops is panned out with these drivers that just made their pit stop 2 laps ago. Now we'll have to see what TJ Roberts, Alex, and, you know, that 20, and we got Wilson up here. We got Adams, Rogers yet, still Borbell. You know, these guys still got to make their pit stop yet with 15 laps to go. And that could, you know, win the race for them, but it also could lose the race for them.
Yeah, the critical thing here is going to be the lap times here. If you can't produce fast lap times after those pit stops, then you lose time to this group up front. And right now they're lined up: Alex Coffey, TJ Roberts, Nigel Christensen, Dallas Manis. Those are not all teammates. Nigel Christensen is the odd man out there at 2018 Racing, but he's also got his teammate of Blaine Wilson there. So the top 5 is a group of 2 different teams formed here together. But if they can run some good lap times, is right here this last time by a 50.46 from TJ Roberts. We're going to have to pay attention and see how Cedric Hunter and Steven Stipien get along, as they're running at 50.83. That's 4/10 slower. They're going to be losing time, and that comes down to Tyler Dingler and Christopher Norris not being able to stay with them and form that group of cars that they needed.
Yeah, and just here at Super Speedway Racing, you know, every mile per hour means a big difference. Every 10th means something too, as we see Alex really pushing TJ there, going through the turns. That could be dangerous. He's really giving him a bump draft there, Zach. You better be careful. We could see something as looks like he might be coming to pit. Nope. He was just getting out of the way there for a minute.
Just a little bit of a moment there of a wiggle, but I will say Cedric Hunter, Steven Stipien back there, they did pick their lap time up this last time by. They both dropped down to the 4s to match these leaders, and that is going to be critical. Could they have had a faster pit stop even here? And will the other guys, you know, will they elect to take too much fuel? That's the key. Can you do the right amount of time? Because if you gain critical seconds on pit road, just like we've seen on Tuesday nights here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, you can gain a lot of time in that pit phase, and sometimes it could be enough to where you won't get caught. So we'll see how that works out. But right now, Coffey is just pushing that 3 machine for everything he's got.
Well, I think this front runner here, Zach, I think they know that, you know, we got to push, get as far as ahead as we can, guys, as now they're coming down pit road. So right here, guys, ladies and gentlemen, pay attention with 13 laps to go. This is going to be the crucial pit stop for them to do it. Hopefully they don't get a black flag.
Yeah, you can't get any type of black flag here. It looks like all drivers.
Right through his box.
Yeah, and that's huge. That's multiple seconds lost there for the 7 machine. He's going to have to hope that he comes out at least with the other drivers around him. He does have a very quick stop, so it's just a small fuel and go. But I think some drivers maybe even taking 2 tires there. TJ Roberts still sitting on pit road. He's actually taking 4, so he's messed up. He's not made the right call there. He is going to be sitting on pit road for a while. Now we'll see, can Coffey and them get back up to speed before the 31 and the 81 come by, but I don't think they will, as that 31 and 81 should be passing them down into turn 1.
Well, we'll have to see what that happens there, as we're watching right now here. The camper, he's right now in that 43 machine. I do believe they still need to pit here too, Zach. So how far do they ride this out? I think they're just trying to bank on a yellow, maybe, because they got to make a pit stop.
It's very well a definite decision they probably most likely are going to have to make here at some point, unless they have somehow saved much more than the group around them. But we'll see. It's going to be one of those critical phases here, getting the pit road, getting everything done. But this group, too, also 3 to 4 seconds behind that front group of Chad Bean, Steven Borbell, Jimmy Kubinek, Adam Buzzio, and Gavin Rogers is your top 5 right now. Up ahead here, we're now on board that 8 machine with Jimmy Kubinek.
Yeah, we're riding along with Jimmy here in that number 8 machine. You can see the rest of the front runners up here right in front of him, as we got a Freaky Fast machine there lower. Thank you to Bean for sponsoring us there on the car. We do much appreciate it. That is awesome there with Freedom Motorsports there in that number 9 machine. So we do appreciate that much. But these guys, 10 laps to go. I see it probably within the next 3 to 4 laps, Zach. These guys are going to have to make a pit stop. There is no way they can do 10 laps.
Yeah, I don't see it happening either, Robert. That's a ton of mileage. That's around 26 miles that they'd still have to complete here on a tank of fuel. Now, the guys up front that pitted already did take a splash, so it is close. It is on the closer side of things, but we'll have to see exactly how close it is here, folks. As 10 to go, coming to 9 to go right at the moment still. Chad Bean leading the way as he's got the 78 of Mason Halsman, who had that mistake on pit road. He's on the tail end of the lead lap there leading the way. So Halsman, he's wanting to see this thing at least play out to where a caution comes out and he's ahead here so he can stay on that lead lap position.
Yeah, that would definitely help him after that mistake going down pit road there of what he did. Like you said, he's running on the back tail end of this thing, so if the yellow comes out, he'd be the lucky dog machine as long as he doesn't get an off track and he doesn't get an incident point through iRacing. So that, that don't want that to happen, unfortunately, here. But you can see Adams here also. He has fallen back a little bit too here, Zach. He was up there leading the race, and now he's going to fall back here to, looks like, Rogers. And I don't know what his plan is. I think it looks like he might be saving fuel. I wouldn't be surprised if these back guys here said, we're pretty close. They might be like 1 lap short of making this event here. So, start saving now.
Yeah, and we're getting a little bit of a call here from Ryan Harrison. I believe he's coming to pit road, but unfortunately for Harrison, he is 7 laps down. So he actually pulled off the racetrack. So for that 13, for a tough night for him back in 29th. It looks like tonight's going to end for him early in this race. But yeah, these guys right here have a definitely interesting predicament because, if they can make it, it's tough because now if the caution was to come out, a lot of people would say, oh, man, they're in a great spot, but not necessarily. The people behind them would stay out during the caution. They would have to cycle to the rear of the field due to that, and that's why you see a lot of times at these super speedways those early pit stops. It's somewhat like a road course. You run the race backwards till you run it to a point where literally you can make it, and then you hit pit road because as soon as a caution flag flies, you can cycle to the lead.
Yep, but we'll have to see, well... Good point there, Zach. As I'm a little running out of things to say here, ladies and gentlemen, as we're watching it here, Mason now gonna latch onto the leader and, see if he maybe stay up in the front here. I do believe it looks like he's gonna pull the train now here, Zach.
And it does look like he's been pulling this train here for the last few laps, and he's been doing a good job at it. I mean, they're running right now a 50.86. That the only thing is they're giving up a good portion of time to that second or that third pack that has already hit pit road. As Cedric Hunter, Steven Stippian, Blaine Wilson, Alex Coffey, they're all in the 50-30s. So you're looking at about a half a second difference there. But we'll see. When does the pit stops transpire? Looks like, kind of looking off to the left there is the 55 of Michael Amity. And he's going to come down the pit road kind of all by himself, and that's going to put him in a dire situation.
Yeah, he's going to be in a situation there. We'll have to see with 6 laps to go here. But right now, just to give an update from the last time some of these drivers seen pit road here, the top 10 did not pit yet. Now, we're going to look at 7th, 8th, and 9th of Alex and all these guys back here in the 23 and Camper in that number 43. They are 18 seconds behind, so they still got to make a pit stop maybe. The last time they were on pit road was on lap 49, Zach. 48, 49. Same as the top 6 of Carla Pooler and all them, 49, 48. So these guys are pretty far back. They're 19 seconds now, man. They're losing time to the leaders with 5 to go.
Yeah, they're losing time, and then also the group behind them that's already pit is only about 3 seconds behind them, led by Cedric Hunter there, Steven Stippian. And this group is turning, almost 2 seconds a lap faster than some of these cars out here. So I think some of these guys have gone into major fuel save mode, but I think these other guys are going to possibly catch up. Now, the front 5, they're in a much better position to not be caught here in 5 laps. It's just how long can they stretch the fuel, because right now they're on their 28th, coming to 29th lap of this run, and they're going to need 5 more than that.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see here. This is going to get very sketchy and very hairy. So out in chat, ladies and gentlemen, we've got 41 people watching here tonight's event, so make sure you give that like up there. Let's get that number up there and show this league how much you support them. But this pack here of Cedric Hunter, Steven Stempy, and all them, they are going to catch that next pack there, like you said, Zach, 2 seconds faster, and they're going to blow by them with 4 laps to go.
Yeah, we'll see how they time this. And this other pack moving up to kind of cut off the line, and this is going to make an interesting predicament. Cedric Hunter cuts through the middle. What a move there. That could have been disastrous there as they made the move around the roaches, as that pack just drives right through the middle. And I tell you what, that could have been a disaster, but they hold on now, and they're going to try to drive themselves up there 22 seconds back. But will the leaders up front have to hit pit road? They're coming to 3 laps to go here. Only 3 more times around Talladega. Did Chad Bean say enough? Did Jimmy Kubinek say enough? Did Stephen Borbell and Adam Buzzio and Gavin Rogers? Those are the 5 still out front.
Well, they're out front. Did they save enough, like you said, with 3 laps to go around here at Talladega? But they're catching on to another pack of drivers, which could help them. The faster they go, the more fuel you'll burn. So, but more speed. So you play that back and forth game, Zach, and we're going to have to find out, did they save enough of fuel, ladies and gentlemen? So sit back, get ready, because these guys here up front, how much do they, if they didn't, they might be starting to save, like you said, and slowing down. And that Steven Stempian and all them, they could blow by this field here with the last lap, could make a pass if these guys start running out of fuel.
Yeah, I think if they start to run out, that's where it gets a little bit tricky for sure. Is I tell you what, I'm seeing a lot of speed dropping off from that group there a little bit. So we'll see how that shakes out right now. Chad Bean still that leader of that pack, and it's going to be 2 laps to go here at Talladega. Will they be able to get to the white flag on power, or will they run into trouble here?
Well, we're going to find out as he's latching on the back here of Mason, and he's going to try. He's got 2 laps to go. He's got to get that white flag here, Zach. If we don't see a green-white checkered, that's something they do not want to see, as we're going to see Mason just drift up a little bit. TJ's going to stay on the high side. We're going to come out of turn 3 and 4 here, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to have one more time around here at Talladega here with the Wicked Racing League on Freaky Fast Broadcasting.
And here we go into the tribal for the second or the penultimate time tonight. It's the white flag, the freaky fast white flag, and it's going to be Chad Bean leading the way. Jimmy Kubinek on the back bumper. Adam Buzzio and them jumped, and Gavin Rogers jumped out, but they've gotten stuck behind the lappers there of Stephen Borbell and the 41 there of also Jamie Plord and TJ Roberts. There's nowhere to go for them right now. Chad Bean holding on to it. They're wrecking on the back straightaway. Here they come, though. Chad Bean in good position here along with Jimmy Kubinek as the top 2 hold on for now. They've got a gap built here, 0.4 of a second all the way back to Buzzio, but can Buzzio and Rogers formulate the run they need? There's a little bit of checking up coming out of 4 here as they get ready to happen. Bean pulls out. Now Kubinek also not to the back bumper. Now is Borbell. Everybody trying to find space here. Is this going to be a mad dash to the end? Rogers involved in it. Kubinek wrecks. He takes out him, and Rogers wins the race, and I think Kubinek's going to get second across the line spinning.
Wait, what happened? It's right, ladies and gentlemen, you got to remember the start finish line, Zach, as everybody knows, is not coming out of 4. It's in the middle of the tri-oval, and this all happened going right into the tri-oval. So, oh my God.
Well, that was all of me, guys. I thought Borbell was a lap car. He wins the race.
So
Borbell, Gavin Rogers here pull it off, and what amazing fashion there, winning the race by 1/10 of a second, going 32 laps on a stint of fuel. It had to be super close, but they saved enough to make it happen, and they are Stephen Borbell is the winner here tonight for the opener of this season's race. What a show. What a drive. And man, I tell you what, we cannot wait to see what happens here later in this season. As you're going to see now, Borbell in the 2 machine, he's going to bring it to pit road. He's going to bring it down here to the start finish line, and he's going to get ready to celebrate here his win here tonight at the Talladega Super Speedway. I tell you, that one caught me off guard. Didn't think they'd make it on fuel, and there he goes. He parks it at the start finish line. I think that thing might be all the way bone dry now, Robert, as he's been able to win tonight's race.
It looks like it. So, you know, I was going to make a little funny comment there, and I was going to say with him, that Borbell, I wonder if that bread can make it across the start-finish line, and he did, saving the fuel there. So, guess what? There's going to be a party going on here with milk and bread, man.
That there is, and you know, the good old Ricky Bobby, you got to run across the finish line. How about or do that? So what a job by him there. The Talladega Nights paint scheme pays off, but as you see it, he's getting the help of Gavin Rogers to do the burnout there for him. We're going to get to talk to both those drivers and one more also driver to hear their thoughts coming down to the end of that race. Thank you, everybody that's tuned in so far. Don't miss these post-race interviews. We'll be right back. Alrighty, folks, we are back here at Talladega with the Buttkicker Cup Series at the Wicked Racing League. What a night of racing. We had some surprise even there. Steven Borbell pulling off the victory. Did not think he was going to be able to save the fuel, but we're excited to have him up in the booth as we're going to bring him up here in the next few moments as we have him here as our race winner, Steven Borbell in the 2. Hey, Steven, it's Zach up here in the booth. You got a copy, man.
How's it going, guys?
It is going great, buddy. I bet it feels good here. I mean, take us through it. How much fuel did you have to save and how close was it? Because we know we were thinking you guys had to hit pit road, but you guys made it work.
Yeah, so Adam and I just talked about basically that last caution that we're just going to come in and see what happens. We didn't know exactly where we'd get on fuel, but just wing it out with everyone else. And then, I don't know, 15 or so to go, we saw a bunch of people head off to pit road, and we take a look at our fuel remaining, and we had about the exact amount of laps left, and we talked about it, had a little game plan, just save a bit, and made it to the end with half a lap left, so it worked out.
That it did, man. I tell you what, coming to that white flag there, Steven, it was so close. I mean, you had the lap cars in front of you there.
Yep.
I mean, take us through it. How did you make that all work? Because I'm sure that was a little bit of a melee there coming down to the end.
It was thankfully I was following Jimmy and Chad the whole time, so I knew what their cars looked like and I knew who I had to pass. So there wasn't any confusion at least, but just I didn't think I was going to end up getting the run on them coming out of 4. But I think having Adam behind me helped a lot, so got to give a shout out to him.
Yeah, man, it definitely was big there. Teamwork always important here at Talladega, and it's great to get that first win out of the way for yourself this season. We head to Nashville next week. How you feel about that one, man?
I love Nashville, so it's going to be a good time. It will be my girlfriend's birthday, and she is part of the sponsorship of the race, so it'll be a good time.
Awesome stuff, Steven. I tell you what, man, congrats on the win here tonight. But before we let you get out of here, anybody want to send a shout out to?
Of course. So this season, I'm running paint schemes that are inspired by family and friends. So today's paint scheme was a Ricky Bobby tribute, thanks to Mr. Jordan. So just want to give him a quick shout out since it was his paint, but also just a shout out to everyone that watches the races. You all know who you are. I'm not going to start saying names. And also a shout out to Adam for all he does to help the team.
Well, man, I tell you what, congrats on the win, like I said, and also awesome paint scheme to live up to the name here at the Talladega Nights. So definitely a great one.
Thank you,
definitely
boys.
for sure. Yeah, you have a great night, Steven.
Y'all
All
too.
right, folks, we're going to move on to our second place driver here, Gavin Rogers in the 77 machine, last season's champion. I mean, he was a pinball at some points tonight, but guess what? He comes home with the second place finish. Such a great job by this 77 machine. So we're going to go ahead and pull this 77 up here to have a quick chat with Gavin, your past season champion. Hey, Gavin, it's Zach up here in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, buddy, I tell you what, it started off a little wild here tonight for yourself. It seemed like at some points you were a pinball getting shoved around out there early in this race, but you saved the fuel, come down to the end, and go and make it through that last dash wreck right there. Take us through it, man.
Yeah, at the beginning, I didn't have much help. I got thrown back quite a few times, so I tried to regroup, try to get with Giovanni. We were able to work with each other for a little bit in the back, and then me and Adam and Alex's guys, we grouped up pretty well, so we were able to make it up to the front, and then all those cautions went by. We pitted for fuel, and we just saved barely enough. Me, Adam, and Borbo, a few of the other guys. And somehow managed the top 2, which is nice. And yeah, good race overall.
That it was, Gavin. I tell you, man, it was definitely a wild one there at some points, but you guys did the strategy right. You saved the fuel, and you're able to bring it home in the second position. Coming off a championship like last year, how's it feel to start the season off on the right foot?
Yeah, it feels good staying up here, keep the momentum going. I know we got a few more really fast guys, so we'll have to see how it goes. Got to get as much practice as possible as usual, and yeah.
Well, man, I tell you what. Next week we got Nashville. Does that track feel like a track that could suit you?
I don't know. I raced there once, and that was quite a while ago. I didn't do too great. I was real good on the short run, but I just killed my tires, so I have to work on the long run and Yeah, just try to save the tires is all.
Well, I'll tell you what, Gavin, excellent job here tonight, man. And now the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, I want to start off by shouting out to my family, anybody that's watching, any coworkers that are watching, teammate Giovanni, and hopefully soon teammate David. I know you're out there watching, so hopefully we can get you up here soon. And I want to shout out my sponsors, Printed Pieces, Jet Set Magazine, Sunance Pizza, Next Level Karting, and shout out to Nigel for updating these paints. They look awesome, and I can't wait for the rest of the season.
Well, Gavin, man, congrats on second, and we will definitely talk to you more throughout this season. Have a great night, buddy.
You too. Thank you.
All right, folks, that was your second place finisher there tonight. And now we're going to have our random interview of the night. Not really random, it's definitely a driver we want to talk to. So that's the big thing. We've kind of changed it up for our 2023. That third interview is going to be kind of a special guest there. Is Chad Bean. He had the lead coming to the white flag. Let's hear his thoughts as he ends up in the 4th position. Hey, Chad, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do. How you guys doing?
Doing great, man. I tell you what, wild finish there. You ended up with the lead coming down to the white flag. Take us through that final lap as you guys were able to save the fuel and make it back to home.
Man, I'm telling you, thank God for my teammates there. I mean, I had one in front of me with Mason and one behind me with Jimmy. We were talking in communication. They would keep me there. And it looks like coming out of 4, Jimmy got a little push from the car behind him and he got below me. And then I had to make a decision. Decided to take the middle lane, and I was hoping Mason could go up there with me, but I don't think he had time. And I saw Borbell in the number 2 coming, and then I guess I was just holding on for the ride after that.
Yeah, definitely holding on for the ride, but it still ends up well. At least you definitely can take, I guess, a 4th-place finish when you're sliding across the line for sure, man. But, some great momentum to start your season off as we head to Nashville next week. Do you think you can carry that over from Talladega?
I feel like I do. I mean, last year, I think my best finish was an 8th or a 9th. So to come out here with a top 5 for my first ever in this league, thanks to this league, we got a lot of great guys in this league, and they definitely help you out. And without a few of the guys that are up there making you better every week, I feel like now I can be a consistent top 10 performer thanks to some of the guys here. So it really feels good.
Well, Chad, it was fun to watch tonight, man. Congrats on the top 4 finish here for yourself and your career best here at the Wicked Racing League. Hopefully, we'll talk to you some more throughout this season. But before we let you out of here, anybody want to send a shout out to?
No, I just want to thank, I guess, my new Buttkicker that I just got about 2 weeks ago. Sure made the car feel real. So, but I want to thank you guys again. I know you guys, I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to watch it. I'm glad you guys joined us for a second year. So I really appreciate it. You guys do a great job.
Well, thank you very much, Chad. It was a pleasure to call the race here tonight and watch you guys go to battle. Hopefully, we'll be talking to you more throughout the season.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate everything you do.
All right, folks. There you heard it from Chad Bean, the 4th-place finisher here tonight. Career best for him. What a wild one it was here for the Printed Pieces 200 here. It was, just fantastic all the way down to the end there. You're getting to see some of the little bit of beating, banging going on there as the final portion of this race played out. But we'll go ahead and hit our final results here as we get to see tonight. Just an excellent opener. A lot of times we open up with Daytona at some of these places. We have a pretty much whole week of Daytona. But luckily here tonight we get to see Talladega. It definitely throws a little bit of spice into the action because, like Robert was saying earlier, you got that farther down line. But here's our official results here for the Printed Pieces 200 here at the Wicked Racing League. You're going to have Steven Borbell bringing home that victory here to start off the season the right way. Gavin Rogers, your past season champion, he's going to bring it home in 2nd. You'll have Jimmy Kubinek in 3rd. Chad Bean there in the 4th position. 5th's going to go to Adam Buzzio, keeping that good average finished up from last season. 6th is Blaine Wilson. 7th's going to go to Cedric Hunter. 8th is going to be Steven Stimpian. 9th's going to be Dakota Camper. And rounding up the top 10 is Christian DeRoches. But I tell you what, folks, it's been a wild night. Robert, as we look through the rest of this grid, or this official results, it was definitely all over the place on this 2.66 mile super speedway.
Oh, most definitely. You had some guys up there in the front. You had some guys starting the back. You can see down there where Sam Dyer, down here in the 26th position, you got Cody Reed that got caught up in a couple things with Blackjack Racing there. I do believe that's his team name. I could be wrong on that one. And we'll get that all set out. We didn't talk too much about the CC Esports era of Dallas. He had a decent run, top 15 for him there. So that's good. But, look at TJ Roberts there, Zach, all the way back in 27th position, and he one lap down. And he was up there, running up there in the front, and then he got caught up into some stuff too there. But as you can see, here is the rest of your running order here with the Wicket Racing League, brought to you by Buttkicker. So that's cool that, he got to use his Buttkicker he got 2 weeks ago, and that's a total different product that you got to get set up, man, and it is awesome to have.
That it is, man. These great products like that for sim racing are great to have, and the Buttkicker Cup Series has definitely been one to watch for, and you definitely got to thank Buttkicker for all they do. But tell you what, we're done with Talladega now. We got to get ready though, because next Wednesday, we got the first true test of the season, as they would say. It's the Nashville Super Speedway. Robert, I mean, after tonight's wild race, we're going to get to see some interesting racing, I think, in Nashville, because that place eats the tires up and is a very tricky surface. I mean, what do you think we can expect heading there with some of these great group of drivers?
Well, I don't know what we really expect there, Zach. But I do know one thing, like you said, it does eat the tires up, and we're going from asphalt to concrete. So that is a whole different beast of its own. And that's why the tires get chewed up. So with new drivers coming in here and the old drivers that it had from last season, it's going to be very interesting show, to see what these guys can do next week, and see if we have a back-to-back winner here of Borbell, or do we have a new winner? We'll have to wait and see next Wednesday, 8:50, when we go live here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, Zach. But, we got one more race to go yet this week, and right now WSSR is off on Saturday nights, ladies and gentlemen, so that will eventually come on your Saturday nights. But we got tomorrow night, Zach Hall and Sam Dyer are going to be calling all the action with Stars and Stripes at 9:20. So if you're not busy, or you're laying down in bed, you're relaxing, turn us on, listen to us, and you know what? Let us help you fall asleep and get a cozy night's sleep. And then when you wake up, you can go back and watch the race where you fell asleep off at, and see if you have a fan out there, or a driver that you like, or anything like that. But yeah, so Zach, I'll let you get your final thoughts here as we get ready to wrap up here tonight, heading out of Talladega and getting ready for tomorrow night there, man.
Yeah, it was a great night tonight, and I tell you, like you said, Robert, you ain't going to want to miss tomorrow night with the Stars and Stripes group. They're going to be heading to the Legacy, Texas with the ARCA cars. That is going to be a combination you're not going to want to miss out on. So it's going to be a fantastic one for sure. But tonight here at Talladega, the Printed Pieces 200 was amazing. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. Thank you to everybody at the Freaky Fast family. And most importantly, thank you to Robert Moyer Jr. for doing double duty here tonight, calling the race and also producing the race. That takes a lot of work, folks. So definitely out there, if you're still out there in the chat and stuff, give this man a round of applause, hit him with a thumbs up, and it'll definitely show him how much you appreciate the work he puts in. So thank you again to everybody. If you're not busy tomorrow night, head to our broadcast at 9:20 Eastern here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting for the Stars and Stripes Racing League. But we'll be back here if you don't catch us then on Wednesday nights here with the Wicked Racing League as always. Thank you all for tuning in. It's been a pleasure, and have a great night.